time for another arm day. 8:07 currently. Gym closes at 9:30. That is more than enough time for me to get a solid arm day in. Honestly, eesh, it's been a while. I can't really remember the last time I cut an arm day short. Or really, any lift that short. But even when I do, like the last time well, I guess I do remember what it was like. I did like a full tricep workout, and then buys I was quick with. I only did 4 working sets. But I felt like I got a lot of fatigue. Like they were hard, heavy sets. And then I felt like I was pretty much fully pumped at the end of it. I was totally satisfied with it. Even if I were to have done another 2 or 3 sets, would that have been any better? I'm starting to think not. But again, whatever. Fucking, if you want to do 10 sets or 5 sets or just however many, probably around that range though. As long as you go hard, you lift your weights, get a pump, progressive overload, the scale changes, you're doing something right. So don't get too nitpicky with it. But plan for arms, same as normal, rather than trying to superset them. Set of tricep pushdowns, then a set of curls, back and forth like that. I've been liking just doing all triceps first, and then all buys. Just have your dinner before your dessert. Don't go back and forth. That's just kind of how I like it. Honestly, I think part of the reason why I don't do the superset style anymore is the pump would kind of almost hinder me as the lift would progress. Like, for me to do triceps without a bicep pump, it's totally cool. My biceps are unpumped, so I can still stretch them out straight, and I don't have any kind of hindrance like that. So I can do all my pushdowns well, dips well, whatever else pretty good. And then as my biceps get more and more pumped once I move on, my triceps will kind of start to chill out. They'll sort of deflate, at least just a bit. So when I'm doing my curls, my triceps aren't pulling my arm back, keeping me from, getting a good squeeze on top. But when I would do both at once, like back and forth style, by the time I was like half-ish way through the lift, I could tell my curls and my pushdowns were kind of starting to suffer just because my whole arm was getting pumped up at once. Uh, and that's sort of like a double-edged sword in a way, because me saying it like that makes me want to do it again just to get that feeling of having, tries and buys both fully pumped at the same time. But I still think I'm still leaning towards just doing one after the other, just to really make sure tries get hit nice, and then once I'm done with them, I can move my full focus and attention onto curls, onto freaking curls. So same kind of shit as normal. Extensions, heavy pushdowns, light pushdowns, squeezing, machine dips, some overhead stuff. That's all I need for tries. I'm not really a big close grip bench fan, just because I get a lot of chest activation, so that kind of turns me off to those. But I do see the appeal. I feel like I just talked about this. If I was doing chest and tries, then I would not mind doing some close grip bench, just because it would kind of be like a tandem lift, hitting chest and tries pretty hard both at once. Your triceps get activated when you do pressing, even shoulder pressing, bench, whatever. But I still like hitting tries on their own, giving arms their own day. So stuck behind a train now. I'm trying to think if I have any other closing thoughts before we get in there. I got a winter class coming up. I got like a 3 week or like a 4 week sprint course online. It's something about like heat transfer or heat. I can't remember. Some kind of something. So that'll be what I'm gonna be up to next month before I actually go back to school. But just one winter class, Yeesh. I mean, I guess this is unrelated to lifting, but if you've got access, if you can take like 1 or 2 winter classes in between semesters, I'm kind of talking to the college kids now. I say do it. It is not that hard. Honestly, I mean, it's just video lectures and then like a quiz. Save you some time. So, enough of that little academic portion. Let's get in there and start tries. It's been a while since I've started off with heavy single-sided pushdowns. For the last, I mean, what, 4 arm days? The starter has been those really light kind of cross body extensions like those, which I like. Really good movement. I get a crazy squeeze. But tension-wise, like weight-wise, lacking a little bit. So, gonna go a little bit heavier. This is just a bit over half the stack. So when I'm strong, when I'm fresh, in the first couple of reps, I'm gonna do full range of motion, of course. Complete extension, really hold it, like not just straighten my arm, but flex extra hard. And then as the set progresses and I can't really move anymore, I'll do a few more partials before racking it and then matching the reps on the stronger side. My right tricep is a touch behind the left one, not only in just size and strength, but just kind of my insertions. I think the left one is buffed, the right one is just slightly nerfed, but doesn't bother me. I just gotta start with the right one. No. 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 Okay. One more. A little lighter. One more. One freaking more. You know, if something feels good, like if for whatever reason, the opening movement, I just like the feeling of, I don't mind spamming it, you know? If I do a set of alternating dumbbell curls later, and I just love how it feels, I could just do alternating dumbbell curls for the whole workout. I wouldn't want to do that for every workout and have the same lift every time. But, you know, if something is just putting you in the zone, make use of it. That's all I'm trying to say there. Okay. Now I'm comfortable moving on. Let's pick something else. My options with getting a push down that's like as much weight as I can actually do. Like obviously, not a power lifter. I don't need every set to be as much weight as my body can physically handle. But, you know, some sets I want to do a bit lighter, focus on squeezing. And then other sets I want to really push it weight-wise to the point where, you know, 15 reps, 10 reps, I really can't get any more. So I could either throw like 3 plates onto that cable, well, that cable over there, or just put these 2 cables together and use 2 stacks on one of these, you know, dual arm machines. So this is a little easier. Nothing to it, right? Normal reps. I'm not going to go super slow. Really just going to try to burn out. But I will focus on getting a full contraction. Okay. One more. You know, I really like this setup. Apart from the fact that it's kind of freaky because, like, you know, the cables are right underneath my face. So if anything catastrophic happened, it probably wouldn't be very fun for me. But apart from like a normal push down, where this differs, I don't have a cable going right up into my face. So instead of sitting here like this or bending backwards, I get to really get on top of it and, you know, not have to put my head side to side. But at least one more here. No. No. Okay. Okay. Whew. I think that's enough there. Honestly, I was actually gonna save this for later. I wanted to do machine dips, but that machine was taken. It is open now though, so let's get over there. Okay, so I've kind of changed my approach to machine dips. So instead of just sort of treating this movement as like something to really overload and just have a lot of tension on my tris, I've been emphasizing fully straightening my arms out at the bottom and then getting an extra level of squeeze before actually coming back up and doing another rep. So sort of like portion A of the set will look like that. Complete extension, totally straightened, pause for a moment. Then there might be portion B where I straighten out, but I can't get that full extension. And then portion C, a couple partials, and I'll be ready to rack it by then. By then, a considerable amount of damage should have been done. Okay. One more. Oh my god. Okay. One more. Let's do one more of these. Okay. Oh my goodness. Now we can move on. Guess where we're going next? Did you guess right? Cross-body cable extensions? Even if you didn't, whatever. I could be doing the rope. I could be doing a straight bar. I could be doing maybe some light skull crushers. This one feels good on my elbows. At this point, I kind of feel like I've done 90% of the work per se. Not that I should just stop now, of course, but sometimes the exercise selection is a little bit, I don't know, it's not necessarily the first factor you should be focusing on. No matter what tricep movement I could do, I could go back to straight bar, or I could do those single arm pushdowns again. As long as they were hard sets, I'm gonna be satisfied. Sometimes I just like doing different things because I feel like it lets me hit whatever muscle I'm targeting in just a slightly different way. Even though if you look at all these movements that I've done so far, right, what have I really been doing? Taking my arms from bent position to a straightened one. Same thing with those single arm pushdowns, same thing with the dips, same thing with the straight bar. You know, if you break it down to its core components, that's all you're doing for tries. So no need to get too complicated with it. Just try to focus on squeezing hard. Well, pushing hard and squeezing hard at the bottom. That's what I'm trying to get at there. Okay. I don't really want to do one more of those. Let me pick something else, finish with it, and then we can start curls. I was going to try some funky D-handle pushdown, but it's been a while since I've done the rope. So I think just straight up set with partials. And then if I think I'm done, I'm done. But if I think I've got enough in the tank and it's going to be beneficial for me to do one more, then what do you think I'm going to do? Okay. I think that's good. Let's do some kind of dumbbell curl. Then before I know it, I'm gonna be checking the arm pump, freaking out. I was getting ready to start with just standing dumbbell curls, but I always start with dumbbell curls. So instead, just in the spirit of changing it up, I'm thinking seated concentration curls. And again, similar with triceps, my right bicep has always been just a bit behind the game compared to the left one. So I'm gonna go to failure, or at least as hard as I can go on the right one. Let's say I get 10 good reps and 4 partials. I'll match that with the left one and not exceed it. Okay. All right, at least one more. Okay. One more. A little lighter on this one. 40 instead of 50. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's pick something else. Oh my gosh, not sure what. I'm thinking I'm gonna go for a 2-in-1, and this might be the finisher. Not really sure. I'm not talking about supersets, I'm just saying I'm gonna be right here. So for the next set, maybe 2, just standing easy bar curls. And I'm going pretty heavy. Like, this is basically a plate, 225s. So I'm not gonna mind a little bit of swinging just to get a couple of extra force reps out for sure. And I mean, with something like this, there's not really any partials. You can either do a rep or you can't. So once I can't, I'm just gonna rack it and be done. But after this, I'll take a plate off, do some regular preachers. And by then, I mean, just based on feeling of how my biceps feel right now, I mean, it's not gonna take much more to finish these suckers off. I guess I didn't swing those as hard as I thought I was, or as hard as I thought I was gonna. I think that's enough of that. Let's just move on to the regular preachers. That was a good set, though. I think let's call it there. Whew. All right, let's find a mirror. So that ended up being much more volume for tries than it was for buys. I got a problem with it. It was just kind of as much as I felt like doing until I was satisfied. I think subconsciously I may have gone a little easier on buys volume-wise because I know that my right one's still just a little tender. I don't want to absolutely obliterate it, but none of those sets felt like I was messing with it. So I am perfectly satisfied. Oh my goodness. More than satisfied. Oh, even just, so this is what I was talking about in the car, about how when my biceps are pumped, it's hard for me to fully straighten out my arms because I can literally feel I'm pulling on my bicep by straightening it out all the way. Let's turn the exposure while they're talking. There we go. Speaking of 5:30, that's when I should be coming in here for my cardio. I've been doing like noon cardio. Not very intense at all, at least in terms of schedule. But let's run through some classics here. I mean, what do you think? Oh my goodness. Okay. They just closed down. So I think we are ready to roll. Aish. Let's get in the car. Very nice. Very freaking nice. I was kind of thinking, I really am not envious of the dudes out there who've got to fight tooth and nail to, kind of convince themselves to go into the gym on a maybe not a day-to-day basis. If you live for a while, of course you're gonna have days where you're really into it. But if for whatever reason you can't just rewire your brain to kind of, well, I don't know, just be excited to get into the gym, or to almost make it a non-negotiable, then yeesh. I mean, that would just fucking suck. Like, obviously I consider the gym to be a big portion of my day, in the sense of like something that I plan a lot of stuff around. I make sure if I'm going on a trip somewhere that there's a gym nearby, and whatever else. But again, like I was talking, I don't know if you remember if I was talking about it, but there's a lot of stuff when it comes to, well, just life that's sort of, contradictory, right? Like, when you're training, you should go as hard as possible. I think that's a pretty simple statement. But you should also be comfortable in that state of effort to the point where it's almost effortless. You know, like, who do you think is going to have an easier time? Maybe not making progress. Anybody can, just who do you think is going to be able to lift on a more consistent basis? Right? The dude who has to be in the zone, feels good, feels hyped up to do a really hard set, or the guy who can just go in, do his sets without any kind of external hype or any internal whatever. He can just go in and do them. You know, so man, there's a badass quote. I don't even know. The basic premise was you should be able to go hard. Or no, it shouldn't be hard for you to go hard. Something along those lines. And I can really connect with that. Like, every day, it's not like I'm peak 100% excited to go lift. Maybe that's not true. For the most part, I always am pretty excited for it, just because I like it so much. But let's say I kind of have an off day. The thought of skipping, apart from maybe just one in passing, which I don't even give any value to, it just doesn't even arise. Like, it's not even really a question, unless I'm legit, dying, dehydrated, sick, blowing up the bathroom. I can tell I'm losing fluids. I got some kind of serious infection or virus, the likes of which I should probably just try to drink some Pedialyte and chill out for to recover from. That's a valid reason for me. If I'm seriously strapped, busyness wise, like school, let's say I gotta travel for something, there's just no time, then I mean, fuck me, but that's just kind of what has to go down. And that's pretty much it. Apart from that, even if I kind of feel like trash or whatever, I'm going it, right? Because I don't consider it. Oh, this is getting back to what I was talking about, how it's some things are kind of contradictory. Like, I consider it a very important part of my day, in the sense of that I really like it. I'm excited for it. I want to make sure it's good and productive. It's a time, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hour window, which I really want to make sure I can get some good work done. But on the flip side of that, if that's the yin, then the yang of that is like, it's not even troublesome for me to go in, Like, you don't think to yourself, oh crap, I gotta go to the bathroom now that I'm awake. I gotta put my clothes on. Like, shit like that is just a part of daily life, and that's what you should consider. That's what you should consider any kind of, endeavor that you're going after, right? Because like I was saying back in the beginning of this whole little chat, I'm not envious at all of somebody who has to like every day fucking, oh crap, should I really go? Oh man, I don't know if I can do it. Like if you kind of to have to go through that process, I mean, you're just wasting so much energy, you know? Like I guess good for that dude if every day he goes in and he has to deal with that kind of internal whatever. But he'd be so much better off if he could just kind of do a little bit of self-reflecting, just make it a non-negotiable for himself, and then spend that mental energy on not only the lift itself but just anything. You know, I kind of feel like every day you have a certain amount of energy, and I'm not talking calories. I'm talking like mental, maybe not spiritual, but you get what I'm saying. Like you've got a certain amount of stuff, a certain amount of whatever you want to call it, which you can put out into the world. You know, and I think the more BS you engage with, or the more internal discourse you've got to think about, or any serious changes in emotion, which maybe they're not caused by you, they're just caused by external circumstances, but whatever, you know, the more you have to deal with everything else on this, what do you have left if you want to do something productive, you know? So, in that sense, I think it's worth not pushing everything else out and trying to like just become a monk and not fucking think about anything except your inner peace. That's not what I'm trying to get at. But how much stuff are you paying mind to? How much stuff are you putting energy into thinking about and like acting a certain way because of and stuff like that? How much effort are you putting into stuff that not only is not going to contribute to anything meaningful for yourself, but also just weighs you down? Eesh. I'm not, when I get into talks like this, I'm not a fucking psychology major, so I can't get into it insanely deep. But, you know, that's something worth thinking about, right? How often are you scrolling on Snapchat stories, just looking at absolute nonsense, you know, and just fucking, just nothing? And I'm not talking as though I'm a fucking professional. Right? You're gonna catch me wasting my time on social media like that, just like anybody else. But I'm trying not to. You know, I am trying my damnedest not to. Because I've got so much energy in my mind, I want to put it towards stuff I like. And then maybe once I'm done, you know, after I finish my lift, I'm not going to mind kind of just doing nothing. Because whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I kind of feel like if I have a to-do list every day in my mind, number one, and in a box that's probably 100 times bigger than any other, is gym slash related. That related is going to be, you know, getting my food down, making sure the day is scheduled such that I've got time, you know, stuff like that. So everything else just kind of, it's whatever. It's whatever. So, if you got anything good out of that one, good. If you're kind of zoning out because I was saying some mumbo jumbo, then do your cardio, god damn it. Did I get you? Are you one of the geez, I forget the stats. I did a YouTube poll. Do you do your cardio consistently? I think 30% said they did, 70% said they didn't. I think at least 80% of that 30% were lying. So are you part of the 5% that's doing your cardio consistently? Even saying 5%, I don't think that's right. I feel like it's smaller. Do your cardio, man. Come on. More energy in your lifts, better metabolism. You're going to be leaner, bulking, or cutting. The only negative is that, oh, it's kind of a hassle. Blah, 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 blah. Well, whatever. I'm doing it. You can do whatever you want. I'm not your freaking dad. So, that's all I got. I'm going to go home and eat, and then I will see you next time for legs. I think I'm going to go to a different gym tomorrow. One that has some leg extension, or no, some leg machines which I haven't used for a little while, but which I do really like. So that'll be a freaking sweet lift. I think I'll do quads as well, depending on how my right quad feels. It felt a little funky on the last leg day, or well, 2 leg days ago. So I chilled out on quads this last leg day. So as long as it feels good tomorrow, I can expect a very freaky quad pump. So I'll see you tomorrow for that.